conversation then now, as we tell you that chaotic scenes are playing themselves out in the West Rand, in the area of Kagiso. The protests continue there. Residents there in Kagiso vowing to continue targeting illegal miners over the high crime levels in the area. One person has been killed during today's protests. It follows, of course, what happened in Tembisa, where service delivery demonstrations spiraled out of control earlier on this week, with 4 people dying, being killed, and infrastructure destroyed during those protests. Well, let's discuss this then, the ongoing protests and the crime situation and the themes coming out of that, with criminologist Professor Kholofelo Rakubu, who joins me now to weigh in on this conversation. Prof, good afternoon. Thank you for your time. So, what we are focusing on now, Prof, is the issue of illegal mining. But the community there in areas like Kagiso centered this conversation on its implications for crime and safety in their areas. Just help us make sense of that nexus between illegal mining and issues of safety and security in communities that have these mines, that have a history of mining.
Thank you, Thulasizwe, and good afternoon to the viewers. Let's start with the illegal miners. Obviously, communities, they were aware for years of these illegal miners and their operations and the extent of those operations. And what we should always remember is that South Africa has never been able to control the impact or the influence these operations, whether it's gangs or illegal immigrants or taxi violence, those impact on young people in the communities. So now it is justifiable that with the crime rate and with what has happened in Krugersdorp, there's multiple mentions of illegal migrants here and there. Now with this level of crime, it is justifiable for them to look at illegal immigrant. Now it's sort of what we call they just want something that makes sense to explain high level of criminality. If now we take it back to them to ask, where is your local safety plan? Because in that safety plan, we should be able to see this challenge during community safety audit, which now you can work with SAPS to identify that as a community, we are not safe, we are vulnerable. And what makes us vulnerable is the presence of illegal miners. Now, I guess with what has transpired, the community is not safe and they feel the vicinity of illegal miners. They might be subjected to what others have been subjected to with the Zamazama issues and the criminalities that involve Zamazamas. So now they want to be reactive in it because they've been there for years. If we were to check with these community members, they were aware, and some have benefited from these illegal miners, and some have worked with them. Some are in conflict with them. So that is my understanding.
Just in terms of even characterizing these people as Zamazamas, the name itself suggests that these are, in a way, you're almost tempted to see them as they're just trying. They're trying to just make a living. But actually, all pointers point to this being more than just about people just trying to do what they can, hustlers in a way, to doing the best they can in a difficult economy. That actually, if you scratch beyond the surface, you reveal a whole ecosystem that feeds into criminality.
Yes. Now, when you have issues with people that are trying, why now do you have to ban or barricade or even damage institutions that are highly beneficial to you? We can even try maybe tap into the Tembisa issue, wherein now we have issues with service delivery, but the nature of demonstrations suggests that we do not want facilities, we do not want clinics. Now it clearly specifies what? crime and violence in South Africa, the manner in which demonstrations are taken out, it is a learned behavior. Because this has happened before. Remember the Vembe Malamuleleke issues, where demonstrations took this kind of format, and not much has been publicized with the repercussion for doing that. So today we go into, with the matter surrounding Zamazamas, we're going to be opening room for opportunistic criminals. Due to this chaos, one female or two are going to be raped today because there's so much instability. What they don't understand is the level of vulnerability they subject themselves to when they decide to take on this route when it comes to this nature of demonstrations. We could not have lost these lives that we have lost if demonstration took a different shape. I hope with this kind of demonstrations and the level of violence, though multiple research will tell you that there's always been connection between the country's violent past. We communicate using smoke, and that also is connected to what the contemporary criminal behavior. So what we're seeing today is just transformation and expansion of what has been happening. However, to say we are tired of Zamazamas and ban tires and barricade roads and hinder service delivery and disturb schools, that should be re-reviewed by communities. But I will always take it back to, we wouldn't have arrived here if local communities understood their mandate in issues of safety, that though we cannot be saying the police are not doing everything. To what extent did we report? What is the nature of the content or the tenets of our local safety plan? Yeah. To what extent are we vulnerable?
All right, Prof, I've got to leave it there. Thank you for your time and your insights here on eNCA. That's Professor Kholofelo Rakubu there, a criminologist, weighing in on the aspects that have to do, one, with the violence that is associated with some of the protests that we see in our communities, as you've seen in the last few days, but also issues to do with the illegal mining and the ecosystem of crime that it seems to feed. We're back with